James and Ryan here from the Sweet Arts Fighting Jiu-Jitsu Instructional Channel. Again, pick up Ryan's book, first link down in the description. We're going through each section now. More defensive concepts. Now we're going to move ourselves and not your opponent.
Okay, so a real simple idea with here is for moving yourself instead of your opponent. Just a good mindset to have is to try not to use a lot of strength with everything. Now I know you have to use strength and all this stuff, and I always encourage people that have their natural attributes. If you're like naturally athletic, if you're bigger than everybody else in the room, those should be kind of the last things you should try to use. Just be aware that you're not trying to use them every single roll. Can't help it a lot of times, but like really big guys, or the biggest guy in the room, I say play guard, learn guard. Just like learn guard really good, right? So that you're on bottom. You're not always on top, because you'll be on top if you're always a bigger guy. Athletic people, try not to use your speed and you're jumping around and all this other stuff. And don't use that. Try to use more technique to actually pass, right? Meet the person almost where they're at. And you do this as you get more advanced, right? Like, I'm not trying to, like, if I roll with a white belt, just destroy them, over and over and over and over again. I'm trying to meet them kind of where they're at a little bit, just enough to let them work. And it's certainly when I roll with smaller people, I'm trying to meet them strength to strength level, right? I'm not trying to muscle things through, because that's not technique, it's not jiu-jitsu. So, all right, so the simple idea of overcommitting, if you go to the knees here, just knees right here, yeah. So we're here. It's just an idea of an arm drag, okay? This is one of the things I've used the most to show people what I'm talking about. And this goes into another simple concept too of trying to stay loose, which we may get into, just trying to be loose. I'll just explain it now. So we're here. I know that if the person's substantially bigger than me, right, that if I try to pull him across my body, that rarely works. And if it does work, then that's cool. But I expect when I grab for this arm drag and I get here or here, that, yeah, he's gonna stiffen up. He's not gonna just let me drag me across the body. So I already know that as soon as I do this and he pulls back, I'm trying to move myself to the side, okay? I'm not trying to drag him across my body. I'm trying to move myself to the side of his body, because I expect him to stiffen up. That being said, more advanced guys, and this is why we teach to try to get as loose as you can, as quickly as possible, because obviously it helps the learning curve. But if James here keeps a really loose arm, right, and I go for an arm drag, I'm just gonna move his shoulder. Like, it's just a little bit of it's a shoulder pull, right? Which doesn't really give me a lot of opportunity to start to go into legs, go into sweeps and all those other things. But if I do an arm drag and he stiffens up his whole body, like I can move my body across his body. I can still move myself at the angle. So if you look at the position, if James decides to stiffen up his whole body, then his whole body's gonna move when I pull, and I can move myself pretty easily, right? And so I can get to the side. Now, so there is a kind of an idea of trying to be as loose as you can be when trying to, and stiffening up, and when you need to, because being loose can sometimes be very beneficial, right? When somebody tries to pull me, I kind of go wet blanket on them, and then they can't really get that step that they wanted me to do. Also, you can consider that with bigger people. If somebody was like substantially bigger and I pull them, I'm not going to drag them across my body, but I will slide myself onto the side of their body. And this is actually what I want. So this is just a quick example of moving yourself and not trying to move your partner around. A lot of times it's much easier to just move yourself out of the way. And this is all, there's a lot of guard examples that I can give of this, just to kind of move yourself out of the way instead of trying to pull them across your body, right? So it's just a quick example of trying to develop on both ends. I want to have a little bit of looseness, because being loose can actually be very beneficial, especially in the hips. And then also stiffening up, how it can work against you, right? And then not trying to drag somebody across your body, anticipating they're going to pull back, or they're going to fight you a little bit, and then have the idea of dragging yourself to the side. Jiu-jitsu, a large portion of jiu-jitsu is about just achieving an angle. If I can achieve an angle, I can start to do stuff much easier, as a general rule, right? If I do an arm drag, I'm on the side of your body, now I can do things much easier, right? I don't have your hands in front of me, or hands and feet in front of me if I can get to the side. So just consider that as a whole, as a nutshell, as far as like being stiff, being loose, moving yourself.